Pride Center, so here you are in our physical location, which is in Burlington, but we're actually a statewide center. And so what that means is we end up doing a lot of phone work, a lot of events in other parts of the state, or as much as we can. And so we have a couple different programs. So I've mentioned Safe Space, which, for those people who are familiar with Chittenden County, I'd liken it to sort of a combination of women helping battered women and Hope Works, except that we're also mission driven to do anti-discrimination and hate violence work, which I talk about in my trainings. It's amazing when you consider we are a state that has had legal protections, anti-discrimination protections that include sexual orientation and gender identity, and we have had it for nearly a decade, and yet I would say probably a good half of our call volume are made up of people who have experienced hate violence or discrimination. We also have a health and wellness program, and so what that is a program that's geared towards MSM, or men who have sex with men, or male identified who have sex with male identified people, and it really is about health and wellness. And so there are a couple different components. So one is they do primarily all of our HIV testing. We offer free, confidential, anonymous HIV testing, counseling, and referral here, so that if people don't feel comfortable going to their doctor because of the concern about stigma, there are other sites around Vermont that you can get to through gettestedvt.org, and we're one of those, or COM. And so what the Health and Wellness Program has the freedom to do is go into people's homes and offer testing parties. So if people don't feel comfortable coming here, or it's too much of a drive or whatever, what they can do is they can go into people's homes, do testing there, and offer incentives for that person's social networks to come to a testing party and get tested in, still anonymous, still confidential, but in a more comfortable, sort of familiar setting.
So I'm Alana Moriarty. I am a sophomore. I'm the president of Common Ground, and Common Ground is the campus LGBT group. We try to bring speakers and musicians to campus and just kind of raise awareness and have fun events and that sort of thing. And every meeting we make sure to set aside some time where people that go can just talk about different LGBT politics in the news and that sort of thing. So we do business stuff and we do bring events to campus, but we also offer a space to just hang out and chill and meet new people. We actually have been talking a lot about safe spaces and safe zones lately, specifically this semester, because we realized that we were handing out these safe space kind of cards for people to hang up on their doors, and people didn't really know what that meant. It's like, yeah, I'm open to having people come and talk to me, like I'm not homophobic or whatever, and I'll listen to your problems, but we kind of realized that not everyone would be equipped to handle these kinds of problems, and that maybe they didn't know where to refer people who had these issues. So there was a lot of talk about bringing a safe space training. So that's kind of in the works right now. We really hope to have it here second semester, even if it's just for staff and faculty or RAs. We really want people to know that there are safe spaces on campus and that people who have the safe space certification really know what they're talking about and can refer people to other places. So Common Ground is not a support group, but we do want to offer some kind of help to people who might need it. Burlington is just so much more so. For such a small community, there's a lot it has to offer, especially to the queer community. There's a lot if you know where to look, which some people don't, but we're working on it. That's kind of what Common Ground's trying to do.
Cool. My name is Micah Barrett, and I'm the director of programs here at Outright. I think it was a statistic released that queer youth were a certain percentage higher, more likely to commit suicide, and so Outright formed out of the need to support queer youth, and has grown and changed depending on, as the needs of youth have changed, Outright has changed and grown a lot. We have Camp Outright. It's a week-long summer camp that happens in Starksboro every summer. We have the Queer and Allied Youth Summit, which brings in 200 youth from around the state. So every year we have a youth town hall, and we ask youth to set our 3 priorities for the coming year. And those priorities, the youth set them this past year as gender-liberated bathrooms, queering sex ed programs. So the sex ed programs that youth in Vermont go through in high school are not necessarily queer specific or reference things that are applicable to queer youth. And how is it that I can't remember the third one? Valerie, do you remember the third one? Elementary schools, expanding services to youth under 13. Bullying and harassment is still huge and really prevalent in everywhere, but especially, all around Vermont, it's still a big factor, bullying based on gender identity or sexual orientation. Youth who are experiencing homelessness or housing insecurity come here to get resources. People who are thinking about suicide.
I'm Damien. I came to Outright, I think, 6 years ago. And throughout the years, they've helped me progress with who I am and my identity. And they helped me come out as trans, which is really great. And they've given me a lot of resources throughout everything. I attend all that I can, because it's when I can be 100% myself. My favorites are Youth Summit and Camp. Camp Outright is in Starksboro, Vermont. It was started 4 years ago, I believe. It's a week long for queer and allied youth, ages 13 to 22, to go and be with other people like them, have support, be who they want, express themselves. A while ago it wasn't that accepting, but slowly it's been getting a lot better. I've noticed a lot more people are like, well, it's not my cup of tea, but I'll just leave it at that. While others embrace it and completely change their mind.